Okay, so I'm clearly audible at our heads. All right, I want to welcome us to this training hosted or hosting by Grace and Research Institute. Okay. Um, this is a peculiar training. All right, I think this is the first time I'm doing this kind of training this year. So I want to count us favored to be part of this free class. It's a class that I take very, very seriously. Okay, I've been taking this kind of training over the years in different places. Um, but at least you are here today to witness this training. So this is data analysis with research. And most of us here, we are part of my trainings. The last one I did on supporting AI. Okay, so I want to welcome us to this class. So tonight we are going to have a very good time. I believe so. We're going to have a very good time tonight. I believe we have participants from different countries in Africa here now. Okay, so I welcome you all. I will not be able to take names. All right, because taking names will take time. So I will not be able to take names. Okay. All right, I'm trying to increase my volume. Okay, so we have a lot of things to do tonight. Okay, but the first thing I will talk to us on is I hope most of us here we are into research. Okay, because when we are talking about data analysis and research, what we're actually talking about is the analysis part of research. That's what we are talking about, the analysis part of research. So if you are not a researcher, I don't know how you are going to see this training. Okay, because this training is not about research, it's about the data analysis part of research. And I usually tell people, you cannot call yourself a researcher if you are not a data analyst. I mean, there are some of my students that I trained in the past that are currently on this page. And of course, they've been with me for some years. All right. Some of them are my staff already. They will confirm what I'm saying right now. You cannot call yourself a researcher if you are not a data analyst. That is very, very important. Okay. So please, if you are here and you don't understand research, I'm going to pray a prayer for you that God will give you an understanding of this training tonight. Okay, God will give you an understanding of this training tonight. So I will share my screen right now as we start. All right. Okay. Those who are trying to join, I will be admitting you one by one. Okay, okay, all right. So I titled this is a course I take normally. I take this course, all right, regularly. In fact, one of them will be coming up this coming month. This is the title of the course, Data Analysis Professional Course with IBM SPSS by Grace and Research Institute. Now, when you are talking about data analysis, we are talking about a software used to analyze data. But you have to understand data in the first place. We are going to deal with that in this class tonight. Are you with me? We are going to understand data in the, that's the beginning part of this course. But when you are talking about data analysis, you are actually talking about different softwares that we use to analyze data. But before you go into softwares, you have to get the theoretical part of how to analyze the data. Most people just master softwares. They don't understand the principles behind using the software. That's why you see somebody that decided to go for an interview. And then instead of the interviewer showing him or her the system to use, they started asking questions. And simple question, what is a variable? They can't answer. What is a variable? They can't answer it. Meaning that the person only mastered the software, did not know the principles, the terminologies, the knowledge behind using the software. So please, I want us to pay attention to this class tonight because I'll be saying a lot of things together. And you might need to go over this video again. This particular training is being recorded. Are you with me? I'm bringing close to 9 years experience to us tonight. I've been dealing with data analysis since 2014, 2015. So I've been in the world of data analysis since then. And my eyes have seen a lot of things. So that knowledge is what I'm bringing to us tonight. So please, let us be attentive. If you have any distraction with you, please remove them. So that I will not finish this training and then you will not be coming to me with some questions that I've dealt with in the class already. I hope you are following me. Okay, all right. So let's start the class tonight. Can we have a word of prayer? Father, we thank you. We give you glory for this training tonight. Holy Spirit, I pray that you give everyone wisdom, knowledge, and understanding in the name of Jesus. Everything I will be taking them tonight, they will have perfect understanding. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' mighty name, I've prayed. Amen. All right. So I'm sharing my screen. If you can see my screen, can you please raise your hand? If you can see my screen, let me be sure that everybody can see my screen. I'm sure that people are hearing me. Okay, somebody has raised his hand. All right. Okay, everybody can see my screen. All right, that's good. I like that. Okay, so now the first thing we'll start with tonight, it is what is data analysis in research? What's the definition? What is data analysis in research? Data analysis is the most crucial part of any research. Data analysis summarizes collected data. So if you have data with you, in fact, the question is, why are you collecting data? That's the first question. All right. Why do you collect data if not to analyze the data? Are you with me? And the collection of data starts from where? Starts from undergraduate research. Well, we can call it the project writing, actually. Okay. When I started learning data analysis before I got into final year. Okay. So by the time I entered final year, I was one teaching my classmates on data analysis. And actually, immediately I learned data analysis, I learned research also. So it was easy for me. But most of my classmates, they don't understand why they are using questionnaire or why they are distributing questionnaire. They don't understand. Why? Because they don't have this knowledge of data. You understand? And then after they've distributed questionnaire, I started charging them on analysis. They felt like, this thing is too expensive now. So it's dawned on me that the people I'm talking to, they don't have this knowledge. They don't even know why they are distributing questionnaire. Why is it relevant to their project? And that's how most people go about in life. You understand? Until you are trained, you don't know anything. Okay, so what is data analysis? Data analysis is the most crucial part of any research. Any project you are doing, you have to think of data analysis first. I was doing a personal training for somebody yesterday. Yesterday, personal training for somebody. And I told him, I said, before you pick a topic, you have to think on how do you collect the data. So that you don't get to the part of data analysis and you are unable to collect the data, and then you have to return back to topic selection and change the topic again. Are you with me? So it's very important. Even from topic selection of your research, you are thinking of the data analysis part, collection of data, analyzing the data. So data analysis summarizes collected data. It involves the interpretation of data gathered through the use of analytical and logical reasoning to determine pattern, relationships, or trends. Now, I'm sure that most of us there we've heard of what is going on currently in, is it Congo now? Ebola, another strain of Ebola, currently ongoing now. It has been declared by WHO. Okay, so how are they dealing with it? They are collecting data every single day of how that virus, how that virus is spreading, what is making it to spread. They are collecting now. Of course, right now, they've said that it is not airborne. It is contagious, but it's not airborne. That is by the data they've collected. They've seen a pattern, they've seen a trend, and then they can now say something categorically that this how this virus is spreading. This how long this virus can stay in a human being. This how long that this virus can kill this person. That is the purpose of collecting data, to make an informed decision. Are you with me? So it's very important we know that. All right? Okay, somebody made waiting room. This is why I told everybody to connect early. Now, there are several methods and teaching and techniques to perform analysis, depending on the industry and the aim of the analysis. Now, the first thing you have to note is that what is the purpose of carrying out this data analysis? What is the purpose? That's when you're analyzing for industries, okay, for companies. But when you are analyzing in the research world, remember our training tonight, it is data analysis in research. So when you are analyzing in the research world, the first thing that must come to your mind is that what is the objective? What is the objective of this research? Which will inform, will determine the data analysis techniques you want to use. So you say all these various methods for data analysis are largely based on two core areas. By the time you see the objective of the research, you are going to determine is the research quantitative method research or qualitative method research. Because that will determine a lot of things. It will determine the software you are using. It will determine the techniques you are using. It will determine how you report the analysis. Okay? Let me share my video so that everybody can see me. I hope we can all see me. Let me admit these people. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. So let's keep going. These two methods are very important. They are the primary method we use in research, quantitative or qualitative. So immediately you have qualitative research, you are going to have qualitative data analysis. And you are going to have, when you have quantitative research, you are going to have quantitative data analysis. The third aspect is the mixed method research. So automatically you are going to have mixed method analysis techniques. Are you with me? So you have to understand this. Qualitative methods built in, but in this training, we'll be looking at quantitative research analysis. That's what I'll be dealing with in this class. So we have quantitative, we have qualitative. But in this class tonight, I'll be dealing with data analysis techniques in research. But the research is quantitative research. All right? I deal with it too. But let's see how it goes. But majorly I'll be focusing on quantitative. Okay? Now, before we go into the techniques, something you have to understand the data itself. Are you with me? You have to understand data itself. Years ago, I was contacted by a company to analyze for them. And then the person said, please, can you analyze these data sets? He said, I know that you analyze data for research, but I don't know if you analyze data for organizations. I said, well, I do. Can you send it to me? So he sent the data sets. So I sent the data set to one of my staff that was just coming up then. I think that was around 2020. Yes, that's around 6 years ago. So that year, so I sent it to the girl. I said, please, can you analyze this data? Now, after the lady analyzed the data, I just decided to go over that data again. I noticed that she did not do a good job at all, at all. Now, the question is this, why? I thought she understand data. She did not understand data. She understand the techniques of data analysis to use in research, but the understanding of data itself, she does not understand it. So I have to now rework the data, clean the data, do a lot of things on the data before I analyze the data again. The techniques she used, all right, she was right to use those techniques. But the data itself was not properly put together. And if you don't understand data, you are going to miss the road when you talk to data analysis. So now, types of data, understand this. Types of data. We have qualitative data and we have quantitative data. Are you with me? We have qualitative data and we have quantitative data. Now, under qualitative data, we have, now follow me, all right, follow me. I'm going to create, I'm trying to create an understanding in us tonight before we move to the higher section of this training. Nominal data is one of the qualitative data. Now, what are nominal data? Come in. Okay, sorry. What are nominal data? We have gender, women, men, hair color, blonde, brown, ethnicity, Hispanic, Asian, Yoruba, Hausa. What can you say about this? You can see that nominal data are data that has options. Are you with me? Are what? Are data that has options. Data that you can say they are yes or no. I hope I'm making sense. There are data you can say they are yes or they are no. That's the first thing. Or you can say there are data that are called categorical data. Now you say gender. Gender can be either male or female. Am I right? Yeah. Hair color can either blonde, brown, black, I don't know. So you have options. Ethnicity, of course, you have options. So there are groups. So nominal data are categorical data. They have categories, they have groups. Those are nominal data. So when you have a question in your questionnaire and say sex or gender, and you put option A, male, option B, female, option C, homosexual, that particular question of gender, it is a nominal data. Are you with me? It's a nominal variable. So we can say, okay, I'm trying to use terminologies now in data analysis. The questions you have in your questionnaires, you can also call them variables. So in case I'm mentioning variables, you know that I'm dealing with questions. The questions in your questionnaire can be termed variable also. Are you following me? All right. So what are ordinal data? Now I've dealt with nominal data. What are ordinal data? Ordinal data deal with order. Questions that deal with order, variable that deal with order. You can see that first, second, third. Those are order. Letter grades, ABC. Economic status, low, medium, high, you understand? When you have questions that say strongly agree, disagree, those are ordinal, ordinal data. Are you with me? So when you have questions like that, you know that question A can be a nominal data, while question B can be an ordinal data. Once you have this understanding, it will be easy for you to analyze. It will be easy for you to pick the techniques to use to analyze. Okay? Now let's go to quantitative data. You know that is qualitative. Now let's go to quantitative data. The first one is discrete data. Now, what are discrete data? They are the numbers of students in a class, the number of workers in a company, the number of home runs in a baseball game, Now look at those examples. What is common to them? Number. Statistics. Number. Another that is common to them is that they are fixed number. The number of students in a class is fixed. The number of workers in a company is fixed. So when you ask a question in your questionnaire and you say the income of the participant or the income of the respondent, that particular question, income, is a what? Discrete data, because the respondent will say my income is 25,000 euros, $25,000. Then, a fixed amount. A what? A fixed amount. But you can turn your discrete data to nominal data by the virtue of the question you are asking in your questionnaire. Now, there are two types of questionnaires. Okay? We have open-ended, we have closed-ended. What are open-ended questionnaires? Open-ended questionnaires are questionnaires that after you ask the question, you put dash. And the respondent, the person you are giving the questionnaire to, we have to write it out, the answers. Closed-ended questionnaires are questionnaires that you put options. And the person we are giving it to, we have to tick the right options. Can we know the difference now? Good. Now, discrete data basically come with open-ended. So if I say, what is the income of this person? The person will now write it out himself. That is open-ended. The person is not ticking the questionnaire now. He's writing it out. Open-ended. So my income is what? 25,000 something. Basically, it goes to 25,000. Are you following me? That's discrete data, numbers, specific amount. But you can turn it to nominal. That's what I'm saying. By the virtue, the way you structure your questionnaire, you can put income under your questionnaire and now put option A less than 10,000 euros. 10,000 to 25,000 something. So automatically, you've removed the option for the respondent to put the exact amount is earning. You've already put options there. Immediately you inserted options in your questionnaire for that particular variable. That variable changed from discrete data to nominal data. That's why you see people saying that, because it is discrete data and continuous data that you use to analyze regression analysis. Are you following me? When you want to analyze, when you want to do the regression analysis, it's discrete and continuous data you use to analyze them. So some people will say, okay, I want you to use age as part of the variables to analyze my data, and I want to use regression analysis. And in the questionnaire, instead of the person using open-ended question for that age, so that the person that wants to fill the questionnaire will just write the age. They put the age in a group format. Option A, less than 20 years. Option B, 20 to 30. Option D, 31 to, you understand? Immediately you turn age to that. You've turned that variable to nominal data. So by the time you want to analyze regression, that variable will not be used again. Am I communicating? I hope I'm making sense. All right. So that's discrete data. Now let's go to continuous data. You have height of children, the square foot of a 2-bedroom house, the speed of cars. Now, what is different between continuous and discrete data? The similarities that two of them are what? Are numbers. That's the first thing. So you can say that quantitative data deals majorly with what? With numerical data. Numbers is what? Numbers is numerical. Numbers, they are numerical form. So that's one thing that we can say. But what's the difference? Continuous data, it is continuous. Speed of a car increases. Are you with me? It's increasing. Height of children, they are increasing. It's different from discrete data that is a fixed data. So if you say continuous, something that is continue. So we have continuous data, we have discrete data. And then we have nominal data and we have ordinal data. The nominal data goes more fully with qualitative, while discrete data goes with quantitative. But please let me say this. That does not mean that we don't use nominal data in our data analysis part of quantitative data. I'm going to get into that. All right, I will get into that. But that does not mean. Let me admit these people. I hope you are following me. But right now, we got the understanding of this type of data that we have, because we are going to need them. This understanding I just created in us, we are going to need them. All right, so let's run now. Now, quantitative data seems to be the easiest to explain. It answers key questions such as how many, how much, how often. Quantitative data can be expressed as a number or can be quantified. As I spoke about this. Simply put, it can be measured by numerical variables. I've talked about that. Quantitative data are easily amenable to statistical manipulations and can be represented by a wide variety of statistical types of graphs. You know that you can't draw graphs of, I mean, if you want to draw graphs, the graphs you can draw basically come with numbers. That's the best graph you can draw. Okay. So the graph charts such as line graph, bar graph, scatter plot, and etc. Examples of quantitative data: scores on test and exam, weight of a person or a subject, your shoe size, the temperature in the room. I think we spoke about this already. All right. So now discrete data and continuous data. I think we spoke about this already. Okay, he said discrete data is a count that involves only integers. The discrete values cannot be subdivided into parts. I hope we are remembering what they taught us in secondary school or in primary school, integers. For example, the number of children in the class is discrete data. You can count all individuals. You can't count 1.5 kids. Okay, a whole number, individual, that's discrete, a whole number. To put in other words, discrete data can take only certain values. The data variable cannot be divided into smaller parts. So that's another way to know the difference between discrete and continuous data. Are you with me? Continuous data, it has a limited number of possible values, e.g. days of the month. Examples of discrete data. Okay, sorry, we are still talking about discrete data. All right, so the number of students in a class, the number of workers in a company, the number of home runs in a baseball game, the number of test questions you answer correctly, you understand? So continuous data is information that could be meaningfully divided into finer levels. It can be measured on a scale or continue and can have almost any numeric value. Basically, you can divide it. You can have 0.3 something height, if it's possible, centimeter. Okay. All right. For example, you can measure your height at very precise scale, meters, centimeter, millimeters, and etc. You can record continuous data at so many different measurements with temperature, time, and etc. This is where the key differences from discrete type of data lies. The discrete data, you can't divide it. It's a whole number. Continuous data, you can. Are you with me? Now, a great rule for defining if a data is continuous or discrete, listen to this, is that if the point of measurement can be reduced in half and still make sense, the data is continuous. You can see now. So you can start picturing your questionnaire or any data you have and start looking at them. Is this data continuous? Is it discrete? Okay. So types of data collected, quantitative and qualitative. Now, let me talk about this. This is very important. Okay. I want to stop sharing. I want to reshare. Let me show if I'm okay. Let me admit all these people. coming. All right. Okay, so we've dealt with that. I hope we understood everything I've said. Now let's look at data analysis checklists. You want to analyze your data. What are the things that you have to? We are dealing with data analysis techniques in research. We still get to that. All these things are leading us to that point. Now, the checklists, the things that you have to understand, you have to find out before you can say that you've successfully analyzed your data. In the research world, all right, the data analysis in the organizations, that training will come up soon. Right now, in the research world, types of your data, you have to understand it and you have to check it. I've told us we have two types, quantitative and qualitative. Quantitative, we have two types under quantitative. We have primary data and secondary data. When I was telling the person yesterday that I was training, and I was taking the person on the personal training or research, I told him that from your topic selection, you must understand the techniques you want to use. And that will now determine the methods of your research. So if you say that you want to use quantitative research, then you have to now determine, are you doing primary data research or secondary data research? But you have to understand that. And that will inform your topic. Let me give you an example. If you say the effects of COVID-19 in Africa economy, the effects of COVID-19 in Africa economy, it's different from a topic like effect of COVID-19 in, let's say, Nigeria economy using education as a case study. It's different. The effect of COVID-19 on Africa economy is different from the effect of COVID-19 on Nigeria economy using education as a case study. So when you say how, you have to understand. Those two topics are different. The effect of COVID-19 in Nigeria economy using academics, education. It means that you are focusing on education, and then you can pick the people in the educational sector out, and then you can interview them so that you can get their data, and then you can analyze it. Am I making sense? Now, when you now say effect of COVID-19 on Africa economy, my question to you is this: how do you want to collect data in the Africa sense? Africa, the whole Africa. How do you intend to, do you want to travel to all the countries in Africa, or you want to select, even if it's like 4 countries you want to go through, how do you want to do it? It's not practical. So that kind of object, that kind of topic, automatically you are going to use secondary data. Secondary data are data that the people have, it has been collected. You just need to go to a site and collect the data, and then you analyze it. Primary data is the data that you are just collecting. You are just carrying out the experiment. You are just using questionnaire to collect it, or you are just you are just collecting the data set. That's primary data. Are you following me? So you can see the different topics now that we have. The same form objectives. That same knowledge can help you in forming your objective. Are you with me? So that's quantitative data. Qualitative data, individual responses or focus group. Individual responses is when you interview each person one by one and you record it. You record the interview. Focus group is where you called like 3 or 4 people together, and then you are asking them questions together. Okay? All right. So understand this type of data. That's the first thing. If you are doing quantitative primary data analysis, you already know how you are going to analyze your data. Second data, you already know you are going to analyze your data. The second checklist is check and clean the data. Clean data to confirm that they are complete and free from errors. That's check and clean. Check it. Check the data. Now I say, did the data capture the objective and the research questions? That's the problem that people have when they're analyzing data in the research world. You have aim of the objective. You have the objective. You have 5 objectives. When you have 5 objectives, it is expected that you analyze all the objectives of the research. It is expected. You understand? Because they will grade you from the analysis. So you have to check, does this data set, does it comply with the objective? Can this data set analyze this objective? Are you with me? Can this data set analyze this objective? We have to check that out. Did you capture and code your data in the right manner? Because coding is one of the most important part of analysis. When you are trying to use the software, you have to code properly. If you miss it at the coding section, I'm telling you, analysis is wrong. You have to code properly. But when I'm doing data analysis training for people, that coding, I spend like 2 days on it. I make sure that they get it. Or that's the fundamental part of using the software. Any software you are using, the coding section part of it is very important. You have to master it. You have to master it. So did you capture or code your data in the right manner? The next question is that do you have all data or missing data? You know, there's a data I'm analyzing currently. That data set, after I started going through it, for the past 1 week, I'm still trying to clean it. I will show us now. Just give me a few minutes, please. All right, so waiting on. Let me show us the data set I'm talking about. So this is the data set. I think 2 months was used to collect this data online through Google Form. So this is data set. Okay. This data set is a very complex data. Very, very complex. It's extremely complex. You understand? I'm still cleaning it to today. Okay? Because if you don't do thorough data cleaning, thorough checking of the data, you are going to analyze rubbish. And then when the person is now want to publish the research, to be a problem. Or by the time the person has a supervisor like me, that I check everything, it's going to go analyze that data again. All right. So it's very important. I will note that. So next one, do you have enough data set of observations? You have to know that. Do you have any outliers? If yes, what's the remedy for outliers? Yes, you have to know that. You have to check your data out. Does your data capture the hypothesis? This is one part that is very, very interesting. Tomorrow we are going to have a question and answer tomorrow, but I will blend it with hypothesis testing class and try to do some practicals with us tomorrow. Okay, so make sure that you are also present tomorrow. Number 3, analyzing data process. First one, now this is the process you need to follow when you are trying to analyze. Get over the research methodology. Go through the research methodology. Look at the techniques that you put or the person put under the research methodology. Look at the sample size. I've seen somebody that came to me that wants to analyze data that under the research methodology, the sample size is, I think, 300 something, the sample size. And the person brought a data of 100 something to me. Now, if I did not know, I'll just analyze the data, and then there'll be questions on it. Okay, so you have to understand that. Check the sample size and check the number of respondents on the data. Now, the one I just showed us now, let's look at it. This is how many respondents. This is 383 respondents. But this particular work, it is 360 something that is the what? That is the sample size. Meaning that the person collected data more than is required. So what do I need to do? I will delete the ones that are not relevant to get to the level of 363 that the person has. And then I will start analyzing from there. Are you with me? So you have to understand. You have to understand. Test your objective. I've said that. Test all the objective. Now you have to understand the objective also. Let me take us back to the training I was taking yesterday, a personal training. Of course, the person paid for it. I don't take too much personal class. What, of course, the person needed the class and then to devote the time to take the person every week. I told him, I said, you must understand the objective that deals with quantitative research or quantitative analysis, and the objective that deals with qualitative analysis. Now, if you have objective that says analyze, determine, what statement again? Analyze, determine. How do we form objective again? Objective again. Yeah, those two statements, those two words, analyze, determine. That's another one that I used yesterday. I've forgotten. Okay. When you use those words, you are dealing with quantitative objective. You are going to do quantitative analysis for that particular objective. When you use explore, understand, perspective, are you with me? You are dealing with qualitative. So you form objective and say to explore the relationship between that. Explore, I've taken that objective to qualitative. So why don't you change it to analyze if you know that you want to use quantitative? So you have to get your understanding. Now, this is research now. You can see how research it is interwoven with analysis. You can't separate research from data analysis. They are together. So if you say that you are an analyst and you don't know research, you are very, very incomplete. Are you with me? You are very, very, in fact, you are more dangerous than the person that says is a researcher, not an analyst. I'm telling you. The person that says is a researcher, not an analyst, I respect that person. Then you say you are an analyst, you are not a researcher. I don't understand. How did you get to that level? I'm talking of in the research world now, not in the organizational world. So you can say that you are an analyst, but you don't deal with research, but you have understanding of research. Because what I'm saying right now is understanding of research that I'm bringing it into data analysis. Now, I've just told you how chapter 1, which is where objectives are, how it's relevant to the analysis section, how the methodology is relevant to analysis. Because under methodology, you are going to look at the sample size, look at the data collection method, look at the data analysis techniques method under methodology. Are you with me? You have to understand that. So you have to have understanding of both. That's why I tell people, make sure you go for the training. All right, it's not a big deal, but once you have the understanding, it is yours. So next one, visualize your data, charts, table. You have to do that. Identify patterns, correlation, and trend. Yes, test your hypothesis. So these are the process you have to go through. Now, number 4, report the results. Report the what? Report the results. After you've done the analysis, report the results. Now, report format is what? Table presentation, table interpretation. Table presentation, table interpretation. All right. After that, you do discussion results. Am I making sense? You know, a lot of people we analyze, they will say they can't interpret. I usually tell them the man that trained you did not train you very well, or you did not stay enough to get the full the full training. There is no way you can say you analyze and you don't know how to interpret. But there are people like that. It means that they didn't take the training. And I've seen people like that also. There's one of my friends I know is into data analysis, but he has never sat down beside me to learn. He's always saying, okay, don't worry. I will get it, I will get it. Just grazing. So instead of him to sit down and let me train you, he's my friend. Sit down, let me train you. He's a liar. He's just one grazing around. And the day that it affected him, it was not funny. Because the simple knowledge that you want to have, you did not have it. Are you with me? So you can't say that you analyze and you can't interpret. So reports format, that's now chapter 4. Table presentation, you put them together, you interpret each table. Now, the knowledge of data analysis and research is that once you have a table, you must interpret it. Once you have a chart, you must interpret it. So there's only you have a table that is idle. You must interpret that table. Now, that table must be numbered. That's why we have numbering. There must be numbering in your work. Are you with me? You have to number your work. So that is a part of the checklist for data analysis. These are the processes. Maybe by tomorrow we have a practical session tomorrow. Though tomorrow to be question and answer, but let's see how it goes. I don't want to give my word yet. I'm a very busy person. Okay. So now look at this. This is the last part for this particular. I have 2 PowerPoints for us. This is the first PowerPoint that we are dealing with. This one creates the understanding. The next PowerPoint, which will be the next section of this training, I will now deal with the core parts of the techniques in research itself. And this is just the introduction aspect. Choosing the appropriate bivariate test. Types of data, we have what? We have both are categorical, we have both are continuous, and we have continuous and categorical. Look at this. And I think we've talked about this, right? I told you categorical are what they are nominal. No, we spoke about it. The one that has numbers. The one that has options. Okay. We spoke about continuous. And then we have continuous and categorical. Now, if we know that we have 2 types of data analysis in research, quantitative. We have descriptive analysis and we have inferential analysis. Descriptive and inferential. Descriptive is when you have statistics like we have percentage, we have frequency, we have charts, histogram, bar chart, line chart. Those are descriptive. You must be able to use your software to analyze that. Because as simple as it sounds, it's not that simple. You have to know the objective that is the descriptive analysis you use for that kind of objective. And you have to know the objective that is not descriptive you are going to use. You are going to use inferential. Inferential analysis is when you have chi-square, ANOVA, correlation, regression, logistic analysis, the logistic regression analysis, Whitman, different kind of analysis. That's when you are dealing with inferential statistics. Okay, so we have 2 parts. We have descriptive statistics, inferential statistics, or you can say descriptive analysis, and you can say inferential analysis. Are you with me? Okay. So now I'm dealing with inferential now. When both variables are categorical. Okay, let me say this. Before I go into this, let me quickly say this so that you understand. Now, we have objective that is a singular variable objective. When you say examine the level of knowledge of a nursing student on pregnancy. Let's say that. Examine the level of knowledge of a nursing student on pregnancy. That's an objective. Now, what's the variable of that objective? Level of knowledge. The level of knowledge. That was what I examined, the level of knowledge. So that's the variable of that objective. Now, when you now have an objective that says determine the effect of level of knowledge of nursing student. Okay, determine the pregnancy level of knowledge of nursing students. How life you now? Okay, yes. Determine the effects of pregnancy level knowledge of nursing students on their performance or on, do we say performance? Let's say on their sex life. You understand? The pregnancy level knowledge of a nursing student, we are looking at it on their sex life. That particular objective is different from the first one. The first one is just determining the level of knowledge, which is one variable. The second one is what? The level of knowledge of the pregnancy, one variable. How it affects their sex life. Sex life is another variable. So we have two variables in the second objective. In the first objective, we have one variable. So when you have objectives that is one variable, is a singular variable, you are most likely going to use descriptive analysis. Don't forget this. This is the kind of information, knowledge I share in my paid class. Are you with me? But I'm sharing it now. It's flowing out of me to share it with us. When you have that kind of objective, a singular variable objective, we are most likely going to use simple descriptive analysis. When you now have objective that it is 2 or 3, like we have 4 in the objective, 4 variables. 3, you can highlight them. Someone said, is it possible to have 3 variables? Definitely. Okay, look at this. The effect of pregnancy level of knowledge and contraceptive utilization on, listen, on the sex life of the nursing student. Or you can say on the sex life and performance of the nursing student. So you are looking at the effect of the knowledge level of pregnancy. 1, the utilization of contraceptive. 2 variables now. On the sex life. 1, and then their performance in school. 2. So we have 4 variables. So anytime you have objective that is more than 1 variable, you are mostly going to use differential statistics. Now, the one you are now going to use is not the problem, which you have to now understand. When do you use ANOVA? When do you use this? When do you use that? That cannot be the problem. But of course, you know now that you can have 5 objectives. 3 of them are going to use differential, while 2 of them are going to use what? Descriptive, based on what I just said now. So when you say both are categorical for this chi-square, it's saying that the 2 variables in that objective, they are categorical. We have chi-square test is what we are going to use. Official exact likelihood ratio, NIMIA. I will explain this to us later. When both are continuous, normally distributed, not normally distributed. If you say normally distributed, they are okay. You know, I'm telling us when to use a particular data analysis techniques. I can't tell us now how normally distributed looks like, but that will be another training entirely. But just have this. Test your data if it's normally distributed. If it's normally distributed and the 2 variables are continuous, you know, I'm going to remember continuous variable. So the 2 variables in the objective are continuous. Then you're going to do Pearson correlation. All right. In fact, it's just not here. You're also going to use regression analysis. You can either use Pearson or regression. Okay, if it's not normally distributed, spearman correlation analysis. So get these charts. Continuous versus categorical. One variable is continuous, one is categorical. Normally distributed, we are going to use t-tests. Are you with me? We have independent t-tests, we have pair t-tests, we have ANOVA. All these fall under this, but you must know when to use each of them. If normally distributed, we have man whitening, we have recon signal rank tests. All right, so let's get this. Okay, any question? Or don't ask any question for now. So let me go to the next section of this training. Okay, let's go to the next section of this training. Okay, so let me stop sharing. I hope we are getting something. So if you are getting something, okay, let's take like 2 questions or 3 questions. So somebody's raising hands. Okay, Mr. Benjamin. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Okay. So my question is, if you say normally distributed, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, I just mentioned it that it will be difficult for me to explain it. I just mentioned it now. It will be difficult for me to explain it because for you to get to that point, you must have done some data analysis, all right, for you to get to that point. So I usually take that in my paid class. I don't know how to show you right now because I'm just creating the understanding in us. But just know it at the back of your mind. You have to test for the normal distribution. You have to do the test. All right. Yeah. So just put at the back of your mind. I can't really explain it right now. Okay. All right. Another person. All right, Mr. Sheku from Sierra Leone.
Yes, good evening from Sierra Leone. Thank you so much for the presentation.
Yes.
It's superb anyway. I just a concern. I think a friend told me he's in the waiting room, so
Okay.
he has tried. Yeah, but
okay,
you are here to admit him, and I
okay.
don't know.
It should be admitted now.
Okay, this is my device. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Morning.
All right. So let's go to our next class, to our next session of this training before I take a full question and answer. Please, I would love for us to just send the questions to the page. Sorry, send it to the chat box. So I will answer all these questions together. Are you with me? Say, can you add missing variables in your data? So all these questions I will answer them together after this next session. Okay? All right. Okay, so choosing the appropriate tests. That's this next step. That will be dealing with tonight in this next class. Choosing the appropriate tests, a diagnostic guide to bivalent analysis based on types, data types, distribution, and research objectives. Choosing the appropriate tests. Okay, we have categorical, continuous, and ordinal. We also have nominal anyway. So let's move on. I'll be fast now. Okay, so I think we've dealt with this already. We've dealt with this already. Yes. Categorical and categorical is chi-square. Normal distribution is not required. Meaning that if you are doing chi-square analysis, you don't need to test yourself for normal distribution. You don't have to. That's what it's saying there. Okay. Continuous versus continuous. Normal distribution is required. We have Pearson correlation. Continuous, I don't know. Please, let's stop writing on the page. So let's stop writing on the wall of our class. I will have to stop sharing and share again. Okay, so continuous and ordinal. Not required. Test relationship. Two groups versus continuous. Okay, so let me deal with this. This is more explicit than the one I just finished taking us. So categorical and categorical chi-square, continuous and continuous Pearson correlation or regression I told us. Continuous and ordinal Spearman correlation. Okay. Two groups versus continuous. Just have this at the back of your mind. You don't get all these things in one time. I'm telling you. I've been doing this for years. I'm telling you the facts. Sometimes I just forget what's the guide to use ANOVA. So I go back to my own video. Okay, to use ANOVA, you have to, these two must be categorized. So I have to go back to it. You understand? Once in a while. Okay, so just have this at the back of your mind. You can, I will try and send the PowerPoint to the page so that you have it. So whenever you want to do a test, you go back and say, okay, is it categorical we are going to use for this? So have it. So when you have two groups, versus continuous. When you say two groups is when you have age. Sorry, you have sex, male, female. Two groups, male, female. And then you have continuous data. So you can say effect of gender on class size. Is it class? You say class size. Effect of gender, you are dealing with continuous, right? Effect of gender on height selection of the pupils or something. So now you are looking at independent t-test. That's what you are going to do. Same group measured twice. We look at that also. Paired t-test. Three groups versus continuous ANOVA. So you know the first one is what? Two groups versus continuous independent t-test. Now three groups can now be. So when you now have gender, but you have male, female, what's the third part you can put there? Male, female, homosexual. You now have three groups now. Once you have that, and then you now have continuous variable at the other end, you are going to use ANOVA. Don't forget this. This is very, very important. So that's the difference between t-tests and ANOVA. When I'm doing the training, I take them, how do you analyze t-tests? What to click and everything. When the results of t-tests come out, how do you interpret it? ANOVA also, how do you analyze it? What to click on the software and everything. When the result comes out, how do you interpret it? But right now, you should know the variables to use now. Or let me say, when you have the objective, you know the techniques to use. So you know that. Let me deal with these two groups and three groups. You know, you can say that the effect of gender on a particular variable that is continuous. That's the objective. But when you are not designing your questionnaire, you now decided in your mind you want to use ANOVA. And in ANOVA, it has to be three groups. Mean that in your questionnaire, make sure that your gender is categorical in three groups. Make sure of that. Or else you are going to end up using t-tests. The same objective, but because the way the questionnaire is designed, the techniques will change. Do we understand? So you can see that the way you design your questionnaire or the way your data is collected is also very important to the techniques you want to use. So when you have two groups, continuous, ordinal, not required, man-whitening, same group measured twice, which is like the paired sample t-test, but normal distribution is not required. We have Wilcox. Pair data not required. We have sign tests. All right, so let's move on now. Let's now get some practical class, some practical to this thing. Chi-test. Let's look at this now. Now, please, if you are sleeping, wake up. All right. If you are sleeping, wake up. Chi-tests. When to use to find out whether there's a significant association between two categories or groups. You know, if you understood that chi-test is what? Two categorical variables. But look at that statement. To find out whether there is a significant association. Now look at the objective. To determine whether gender is associated with stress level. Look at that word, associated, not relationship. When you have planned to use chi-test, then association must be part of the objective statement. To determine the association between this and this. Once you say to determine the relationship, you are trying to tell the analyst that you want to use something different, not chi-test. You understand? So you have to understand that. So apart from making sure that the two groups are categorical, the statement of association should be part of your statement of the objective. So look at this, an hypothesis. There is no significant association between gender and stress level among civil servants in Lagos State. Does this match two categoricals? Yes, two categories. Gender is a categorical variable. We have male, female. Stress level is also categorical. Based on the way they will design the questionnaire, they can put options there. I told you once it has options, is what? It is categorical. So automatically, the person is using what? Chi-square test. Okay, look at this now. They put it. It said variables, gender, male, female, stress level, low, medium, high, low, moderate, high. Can you see? But I've forgotten that I even put that as part of the chi-square test. So you can see it's now very, very easy. Okay. If you are sleeping, wake up. This is the time for you to have this knowledge. Have this knowledge. Now we have alternate hypothesis, which is the alternate part of this non-hypothesis. There is a significant association between gender and stress level among civil servants in Lagos State. So you are trying to test this with chi-square to be sure is it true or not. You must understand hypothesis testing. It's very important, please. Next one, Pearson correlation analysis. Now, it says shows the strength and direction of the relationship between two normally distributed continuous variables. But look at that, relationship. So if you know that you are planning to use the correlation in your research, then your statement should come with what? With relationship. Then you must make sure that your data are continuous. You want to test, you want to use correlation test, don't put your income. You want to use it as part of your variable. Don't put it as categorical. Don't do that. Don't put your age as categorical. Once you age normally should be continuous. Should be a numerical data. But immediately you are trying to design your questionnaire and you put it as categorical, you cannot use it again. The same thing with any numerical data you want to put in your work. Because it is a numerical data we can use to analyze correlation analysis. Are you with me? So you can test what's the relationship between what? Between age and income. You can do that. And then you can use correlation. And also if you have an objective that say the effect of age on what? On income. You can also use correlation. Why? Because effect of as taking that objective to the level of what? Of relationship. Are you with me? But you can also say effect of. So far the, and you want to use chi-square. So far the variables are what are categorical. But in chi-square, majorly we use what? We use association. So look at the objective: to examine the relationship between occupational stress and job performance. Now, mere looking at this objective, you think that these things are not continuous variable. Occupational stress and job performance, they are not continuous variable. But you now go to the questionnaire: how did the person measure occupational stress? How did the person measure job performance? Now look at this here, the variables. Occupational stress score, job performance score. So you can now see that I have taken the variables of this objective to the level of numerical data, continuous data, numbers, because I'm using score to measure them. So you cannot say, because you see the objective and say, this objective cannot go with correlation. No. You have to go and check the way the person measured the data. Did the person put occupational stress and start using strongly agree or something? Once the person start doing that, of course, definitely that data cannot be continuous. But if person measure it the way I just put it now, occupational stress score and job performance score, automatically that's passed the test. Now let's look at the hypothesis. It said there's no significant relationship between occupational stress and job performance among civil servants in Lagos. Simple. You form your hypothesis. You must know how to form hypothesis, please. It's part of research knowledge. The alternative hypothesis is what? There's a significant relationship between occupational stress and job performance among civil servants in Lagos State. All right. So Spearman correlation analysis for continuous or ordinal variables that are normally distributed, highly useful for Likert scale. Now look at it. To examine the relationship between workspace pressure and coping mechanism. Who is this person I want to write down? You can see the same thing in relationship. Variables, workplace pressure score, coping mechanism score. This one, it is Pearson correlation analysis. This one passed the test of nominal. Now look at it now. This is distribution. Once you test your distribution level, it's going to give you a bell shape. This is a bell shape. You can see now. We have variables, we have distribution. It's give you a bell shape. So once your data give you a bell shape, then you can see that that data is normally distributed, and also you can use Pearson correlation once it fulfills all other criteria. Now look at it. Once it did not give you the bell shape, then we are going to use Spearman correlation analysis. But you still follow the same kind of way you write your objective and also write your hypothesis relationship. All right, so let's go on. Independent sample t-test. When to use it? When one variable is categorical with two variables and the other is a nominal distributed continuous variable. We'll talk about that. Now look at the objective: to compare the mental well-being of male and female civil servants. That's gender. And we'll talk about that. So gender, male and female civil servants, look at it. Score was used, continuous data. So hypothesis: there's no significant differences in the mental well-being between male and female civil servants in Lagos State. Am I making sense? Thank you. Peer t-test. When to use it? When the same participants are measured twice. We spoke about that. Before and after an intervention. So the people that use this one the most are people that carry out experiments. Most people that are also in the educational sector that does pretest retest. Pretest retest. This is your kind of analysis. Peer t-test. All right. Look at it. To compare the stress level before and after stress management training. Are you with me? This is your kind of technique. There's no significant difference in the stress level before and after the stress management training. So when you are trying to do this type of tests before, you can say that, okay, these people in Congo that are trying to curb the spread of Ebola. Are you with me? So they can do a test before the person contacted Ebola. What's the blood work? Do those tests. After the person contacted Ebola, what's now the blood work? Do the test. Do the test also, and then they can now compare. Most of the time, when we are dealing with these tests, you are comparing. You are comparing the first test that you did against the second one. Are you with me? Aha. Okay, so let's move on. ANOVA analysis. When one categorical variable has 3 or more groups and the dependent variable is continuous, we spoke about that. To compare job performance across different educational qualificational groups. Job performance among different educational qualification groups. Now look at it. Job performance is what is continuous. Educational qualification, we have BSc, we have masters, we have PhD. You know, I talk about that. That's when I was talking about gender, male, female, homosexual. So when you have 3 groups against a continuous, then you are using ANOVA. When you have 2 groups against a continuous, you are using independent tests. You understand? If you call yourself an analyst, and then WHO calls you and say, come and help us to want to interview you. Are you with me? And you sit down in front of their panel. They will not likely give you a computer and say, we want to test how you can analyze. Take this computer, look at it, this data set, what can you do with this? They will not likely start with you from there. They will likely start with you from this kind of question. What's the difference between ANOVA test and independent test? So don't say you know where it is on system, you can click it, you can interpret it. Can you divine it? Can you tell us the difference? Do you understand it? And you can see now that it's very simple. One is categorical in 2 groups. One is categorical in 3 groups. Those are the differences. Okay? Man-whiteness test is only the same thing as ANOVA. Okay, sorry, comparing 2 independent, so it's independent tests, but this one is not normally distributed. So there's an analysis for normally distributed, there's one for not normally distributed. RECOM is also the one for, this one is for what? This one's for independent sample test, 2 independent groups. Okay, this one is peer sample test, the not division part of it. Side test to peer observations when the sample is very small, or assumption for the weak-called sign rank tests are uncertain. Focus strictly on whether change is positive, negative, or where I have not done this test for a long time. It's not a test that is applicable. Are you with me? Aha. So because normally, if you don't have normally distributed, you are going to have the other one. So you can use the other one. Okay. So quick decision rule. We are rounding up now. Quick decision rule. Both variables are categorical. Chi-square. What are your variables? Both variables are continuous. Are they normally distributed? Pearson? Yes, Pearson. No, use Spearman. One categorical, one continuous. Are they continuous? Data normally distributed. Use t-test ANOVA. The other one, use whitening with costs. Okay? That's the end of our class. Okay, we have this. I think this one is like the other one, so I've explained this. So, okay. Any questions so far? Wow, it has been a long class, right? Okay, so let me quickly go through the question. Yes, I will help you with the notes, sir. I will help you with the notes, sir. I will paste it. Do we have to determine this test based on their probability value? No, based on the categorical value, the type of data that I explained to you. And you have to look at the questionnaire. Yes. We determine the test based on the assumptions. All right, the type of data I showed us. Okay, and you have to get that from either the objective, basically the objective and the questionnaire, just like I explained. Okay, sorry. Okay, so depending say, can you add missing variables in your data while working on the software? Oh, yes. That will be done when you are doing your data cleaning. When you are doing your data cleaning, that should be done. All right, that should be done. You're doing your data cleaning. Estimate of what I don't get, please. I don't get the estimate I'm talking about. I'm making your reports. I think it has a strong correlation with the coding of your analysis. Yes, you are right. You are right. Thank you, sir. Okay. You said in making your reports, I think it has a strong correlation with the coding of your analysis. Yes, I spoke about that. You have to understand coding very well. Yes. Please admit those in the okay. The practical class, well, let's look at how tomorrow looks like. I will post it. We will try to have a practical session tomorrow. We will try to have one. Okay. Anybody that wants to say something so that I can unmute you, please. You can raise your hand. I will unmute you if you are trying to say something. If you want to. Okay, Sir Forts, when we unmute you, you want to say something? Mr. Sir Forts, do you want to say something?
Hello?
Hello, sir. How are you doing, sir?
Fine, and you?
Fine.
Please, I want you to post what you have just explained into the forum. Because I came online very late. Not all I got, really.
Okay, and well, the recording will be available so you can go over it, sir.
Okay, no problem.
All right.
Well, I'm from Sierra Leone. I don't just, so I want you to tell me the time when we are to
Oh, you are
be
meeting.
joining the program. Huh?
Well, I thought you are 1 hour in front of Nigeria. Are you not?
From Sierra Leone. I'm from Sierra Leone.
Yeah, are you not 1 hour in front of Nigeria?
That I
Behind.
do not know because I
Ahead.
joined I joined you online at around 8 o'clock.
Yes, around 8 o'clock in Sierra Leone, right?
Yes, sir.
And so that means you are right. No, it should be around 9 o'clock in Sierra Leone. You are 1 hour ahead of
In
us.
fact, we are still in 8. We are still in 8:30, 33.
So that means
So I joined.
So that means you are behind Nigeria.
That could be exactly.
Oh, it means you and Ghana are behind Nigeria. Ah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
The last training I took, you are ahead of us. Okay, it's all right. It's all right. So
okay.
just follow the page. All right, just follow the page. I'll be posting 1 hour's time, 30 minutes time. You understand? So just follow it.
The the area you were explaining is very interesting, but I came very late online, so you almost you are running up now.
Yeah, don't worry, sir. The recording is available. Don't worry. Don't worry. The recording is available. So since you are already around 8 now, so you can just take the recording. I will post the recording in the next maybe 30 minutes. So since already you are around 8, so you can just wait for 30 minutes to have the recording, and then you can do your personal training yourself to access the
Okay, okay,
recording.
okay.
All right.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're
Thank you
welcome,
very
sir.
much.
All right, Mr. Ahmed, I will meet you. So I'll just take like 4 more, and then we are rounding up tonight. Mr. Mohammed, you are muted. Mr. Mohammed, you are muted. All right, it's okay. I think he's not lying again. So, Mr. Okay, welcome to 2026, please. You are raising your hand. I'm muting you now. Welcome to
Hello.
2026.
Hello.
Good day, everyone. Thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate you. I'm Abubakar Kagbo from Sierra Leone. I want to lay emphasis on the time. For Sierra Leone time, when Nigeria is 9 o'clock, Sierra Leone is 8 o'clock. Nigeria is above Sierra Leone 1 hour.
Oh, okay.
That's
Sorry.
exactly,
All
yeah,
right. So I will take note of that. I will take note of that.
yeah.
Thank you.
All right, sir. Thank you once more, sir.
All right, you're welcome, sir. So, all right. So if you have any question, you can always chat me up. So in the next 30 minutes, close to 45 minutes, the recording will be on the page. All right. The recording will be live on our YouTube channel. So I will send the link to the page. So if you want, this kind of training, you need to go through it over it again. All right. And then you put it in your file so that the day you need it, you will always go back to it regularly. So tomorrow I will try my possible best to have a practical session with us. My possible best. I will try it. All right. So good night, everyone. See us tomorrow. Okay.